and gentlemen, what a quick day it has been. It was just morning when I blinked my eyes and woke up, and very thankful to be here for another day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Getting straight into it, we are talking about a changing of the seasons. Like the song says, well, a change is gonna come. And man, we're seeing we're seeing so many changes out here. Really and truly, we are seeing so many multifaceted changes. And it's like when you were younger, you were walking somebody out there and say, don't slam that door behind you, when you're walking inside. So it's like the meaning for this is that the doors are closing. The doors are relatively closing behind you. So we are all headed to different seasons. We're getting into different things, and those who are going to be committed going to see the fruits of their labor. Say it again. Those who are committed will naturally see the fruits of their labor. When the seasons change, from fall to spring to summer and winter and all that good stuff. It's like during winter, the outfits change. So it's like during winter, you don't wear like just shorts and a tank top and flip flops. You wear your winter gear so that you can stay warm. Summertime, you wear less so that you're not as hot. Where I stay, it just gets very 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 hot. So it's like things are going to start to pick up. Things are going to start to ramp up. So things are going to start to pick up. Things are going to start to ramp up, and we are like in that we are in that season now. Like there have been spiritually, there have been closed door discussions about you and where you're going. They know your potential and they know your prayers and what you have been asking for. And that time for those things to be answered is now. You see things happening, and these are not for prying eyes. This isn't, a season or moving forward. These aren't seasons. And for those that believe in April is the new year, happy new year out there, everybody. So you're in a brand new covenant, man. You are. You're the people. What's going on, Miss Wheat? So the people that are going to be desiring your company, it is going to go up. Seriously. There are going to be, let's just say, people and groups and opportunities that are going to be relegated just for you. There are new things. There are new things coming. So a brand new season is opening up. You see things around you crumbling, and it's like, man, that building was so tall, and I thought it was going to stay there for a while. And thanks for liking the live. Thanks for coming in. That building was so tall and massive, and you see it like crumble to the ground, and it's not, things are just not how they used to be. You are one who can be held to a higher standard, still be yourself, still be ethical. Right. Just like there was, what was that, I don't know, somewhere in Indonesia or somewhere, there was like a 7.7 earthquake. It's gonna be like the summer goes up. It's gonna be very interesting. Um, yeah, it's gonna be very interesting with the weather. I don't want to get too much into that, but we're just talking about a changing of the seasons, and with the changing of the seasons comes the changing of the guard. When I was saying, like when you were younger, you walk into your grandmother's house, your aunt's house, they'd be like, don't slam that door behind you, So it's like, you walk, they would have like these iron doors, and they would like have a spring in them, and you would walk in, and the doors would go kaboom. It's like it sounded like you slammed it, but. So, but what I'm saying is, it's like the doors behind you are slamming shut. And don't forget to like the live, folks. Don't forget to subscribe. So the doors behind you are slamming shut. It's like with what's his name? Marvin Wayne. Everybody's the running joke is Marvin Winans. Lock the doors. Yeah, yeah. Lock the door. What he said? No, he said shut the doors. Yeah, that's right. Shut the doors. So that's what's happening with you. Um, it's like seamlessly, oh, it's like seamlessly the doors behind you are being shut, and they're bolts. They are being, it's almost like they're being like bolted shut. So no one really and truly can. It's not. It's like you have divine gatekeepers. You do. You have divine gatekeepers. It's like certain people can only go to heaven. And if you believe that, and it's like certain people. It's. I would say the things that I say, if you feel it in your spirit, because we're seeing massive changes every day, and if you walk, if you walk more in a higher spiritual sense, then, then you'll get this, because things around you are changing. The things that you have prayed about are the things that you have been manifesting. We all do it a little differently. That's okay. However that works for you, it works for you. And I don't want to go down. It's everybody. Like I said, everybody's into something a little different, and that's okay. I never judge or try to throw anything on anybody. Try to have a better on. I try to have an open mind about stuff. But so things around you are changing. The doors behind you are closed, like they're closed shut. So old, it's like old friendships and all of these things that man, yeah, I hear about retrograde and all that stuff like that, and with that comes change and whatever. But it's like a lot of changes. That's why I said the title of this is like the seasons are changing, and that's just naturally what that is right now. It's just that the seasons around you are changing. Like where I am right now, it's getting, it's naturally getting warmer, and that's just what it is. Some days, the time change and all of that. Where I am, it's like it's maybe 8 o'clock outside, but it's still light. So just saying that, and in these times, you have to be focused. You have to really and truly be focused, because the things that you have asked for, it's these are massive opportunities in your life, not just for you, but for you in the sense of the people that are going to be watching you, the people that are going to be around you, the work that you are the work that you are naturally going to be doing, the tools that you are going to be given. All of everybody's not going to understand. Everybody is like, oh, well, this person wasn't the valedictorian of the high school class, or the valedictorian. It's like, these things are, it's like, these things are, it's like these things are very, these things are very potent, and these things are very, very, very important moving forward to naturally to where you're going. The doors in front of you are wide open. There's so much value in you and what you bring to the table. Seriously, people are going to. It's almost like you have a blank. It's like people are gonna be like, you had these brilliant ideas. Here's a blank check, book, or whatever you want to call it. Here, write down the number, that you want to come here. Because we need you. Like we need you, your talent, your potential. That's where we're going. People who may see this, I'm sure you're going to get it, in some way, some way, some way, shape, or form. You're going to understand, what I'm talking about, who I'm talking to, and the desired moments, and people who can't discern in the spirit, they're gonna say like, oh, I don't get it. I don't understand. And that's that's okay. Maybe you'll get it. I don't know if there's time. I don't know, but I know for me, maybe people like me. They the time is now for us to go out, move forward, get ours, do what it is that we have to do. We're getting we're we are people when we get the message. We don't have to sit down for months and try to decode it and nitpick. It's like it's downloaded in our spirit. We get it. We know we gotta move. That's we understand. We understand the message. We do. We understand the message from the messenger or the messengers. God, angel guides, ancestors. Who comes from the other side. In divine channels. We get it. We really and truly get it because the message, it doesn't change. It's always going to be the same. It's like, oh, I keep getting this feeling that, I keep getting this feeling that, and you know what the feeling is. And if you tell somebody, who's not kind of like plugged in, or who's not unplugged, from like whatever society has thrown and they've digested, then they're not going to get it. They'll look at you like, that's just and we know and understand that nothing out here happens by happenstance or coincidence. We know that everything is aligned for our reason, and we understand when that door is open and the door is shut behind us that we can't worry about what's behind us. We have to. We can only move forward. Let's see. Tara's week, Miss the Tara's and week. Daryl Show said that I said that recently. Facebook, everyone will not have understanding of the message. That is true. Everybody is like, oh, what are they? What are they talking about? It's like, hey, the Titanic is about to sink. It's about to hit us a big iceberg, and people they don't get it until the ship hits the iceberg, starts sinking. But at that time, it's too late. But you were smart and quick enough to either not get on the boat or get in one of those one of those little escape boats and go to safety. But everybody else, hey, it's what it is. But that's not your that's not your problem because you you have bigger fish to fry. It's like everything that you have now is going to be utilized, and everything that you have now is going to be utilized in some kind of very divine specific way. And it's going to be very big for your life. All of the stuff that you wanted. Of course, it's always gonna look different. Because of course, we have our dreams and our goals and different things like that. And of course, there's going to be different timetables with different things, but it's going to feel like, okay, yes, these are the things that I prayed for, and you're going to know. And I just feel like you can match it up, like scripturally. Like if you read your Bible and all that, you can match it up like scripturally. Bible, Torah, Quran, however you look at that. But you're going to be able to, really and truly like match it scripturally and say like, oh, okay, cool, this is the same thing that such and such went through, and in the Bible and this and that. So you're going to be able to you're going to be able to match it up seriously. And it's like I was just interested, just watching a video, and a guy was saying, when you find your purpose, it's gonna be a problem. That you're gonna start to say no for society. You're gonna know your worth, and you're gonna know your value. And a lot of people may have a problem with that. A lot of people may have people who people who just go with the status quo and just accept anything and everything and just say like, oh, there's no good, or no, oh, I can't find, like that crowd you're leaving behind, and then they're going to look at you. And I see it a lot. I see it a lot on social media. People who pocket watch, people who try to control other people's destinies, and they're like, oh, that movie didn't do too well. That actor fell off, but they forgot about all of the other hits, the musically, all of the other hits that they had before that one album didn't do well, or oh, they fell off, it's their career's over, and they're sitting around um in misery and just looking pathetic, and they've dug themselves in this hole, and they can't get out of it, and they're mad, and they want to take that out on you, but you don't care, because you're in your penthouse suite, you're getting you're writing your speech that you're going to give to this Fortune 500 company, and like in the next week or something like that. They're flying you out on their private jet or first class, and your life has changed. Like it may feel it may feel like right. No, no one. Right. Yeah. True. I agree. No one can. Yeah. No one can define your success. They how how dare they? How dare they? Right. Because when something I always say all things happen for a reason. And those are your defining moments, how you handle those things, and that's how you're going to be abundantly blessed, because you didn't say, oh, whoa, the end is nigh, let me go and jump off this bridge and just end it all, because you knew that, okay, I it's something inside of you said, okay, look, I just need to, like, the island is right there. I just need to swim to it, and get to dry land, and breathe, rest, and then just walk. And who you never knew on the other side of that there was like this hotel, and hotel no there's a whole like civilization on the other side of it. That's what people stop before they get to the other side. Yeah, so people, they forgo. Great, that's what it's all about. That's what. Hey, that's what that's what creativity is all about. As you inspire me, I watch you, and I might hear something and be like, you know what? Yeah, let me take that and turn it into, you know what I mean, and something amazing, man. That's what it's. That's what it's all about. But yeah, so people, they get to they get on the beach, and some will not walk. They'll just stay on that side of the beach, and they'll never know that, they'll stay there for months, and it'll be like, help never came, and they'll give up. But somebody was just like, you know what, let me go explore a little bit. Let me see what's and I haven't seen this whole island. And they get to a high vantage point, and they see civilization, and they just go to it, and they live out their life, and everybody else, it's like they panic, and they only know one thing, and that one thing is taken away, and it's like, all hope is, it's like all hope is lost. It's like there's a difference between people who can job hunt for a few weeks and find something, and people who people who job hunt for years and years and years, and like, oh, I can't, market this and that. But there are people who just have, like they can change and shift themselves to a new day and a brighter tomorrow. And then there are those who may be kind of dinosaur in a sense, and be like, well, everything's passing by. I guess, I don't know. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's interesting out here. But just to say that seasons are changing, and that you are, it's like that lady said, you are my number one employee. You have been promoted. Seriously, like, for real. Tarot card reader told my cousin to love himself, and now he's banned from Burger King. Wait, what? Oh. It's just some weird people that come on here. Anyway, that's why we had the block button. But yeah, so yep, I love block parties. But anyway, yeah, so but you're gonna really and truly start to see a fast track. You're gonna start to see a fast track to success. Yeah, I blocked them. I saw somebody earlier on your channel, but I don't. I was like, boy, if I was a moderator, my blocking game is quick, like for real. But anyway, let's see. There we go. Cool. All right. All right. There we go. So they shouldn't be back. So yeah, these people just pop up like it's like one thing with social media is like you're making it when a troll start to come in or when you see like right when let's see your wish shall be granted. Um, there we go. And now you are a moderator. So thank you. But yeah, and but yeah, so things are going to start shifting and moving fast, and you're going to be surrounded by beautiful people with just creative minds, and they're going to be like, man, I am so happy to be working with you because it's just something inside of you that gets me something inside of you that just gets me super, super, super excited. How is this person coming back? No. All right, cool, man. But anyway, yeah. So right, yeah. So by definition, we have a lot of angelic, supernatural, divine help. So we are way more than conquerors for a time like this. Of course, they're gonna be trolls and all of that stuff. Hey, this person said this. Like, okay, who is that person? Like, seriously, who are they to me? I don't. And like watch those celebrities and oh, this person, they don't like this person because of this and that. Like, I don't care about all that. I got so much going on. I have so much to do and all of that good stuff. So, but yeah, thank you so much for joining on tonight. Just know that, um, man, it's all right. It was like just this morning. It was like 7 o'clock. Now it's like 10 o'clock. Man, where does the time go? Um, but yeah, so you're moving into a magical hour for yourself and for your life and for things around you. Things are going to start to multiply in amazing, duplicitous ways, and you're going to be so much like filled with grace and happiness for the people and the lives that you're going to be able to touch and change and all of that good stuff. So but yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for tonight. I will probably be back on here let's say Friday. Yeah, probably Friday night and maybe Saturday night also. But all right, y'all. Because I said I was gonna start going live more, over here and all of that good thing, all those good things. But all right, thank you so much for hanging out, and don't forget to subscribe whenever you see this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. As always, folks, I'm out. This peace. Peace.